Hello everyone, in this video we will discuss poverty among different countries. We will discuss the Netherlands, the United States, Russia, China and Chile. First we will discuss the Netherlands. The Netherlands has a population of 17.1 million people, a poverty threshold of €12,360 per person per year, and 8.2% of Dutch people fall beneath this poverty threshold. This is the wealth inequality graph of the Netherlands. This graph shows a quite even distribution among the different classes. Their social-political system is mainly focused on providing all of the citizens basic plus life. They have their basic needs covered plus some extra money. The flexibility between income classes in the Netherlands is fairly high due to their high valued education, which is highly accessible, and the entrepreneurial environment is also decent. The shame of being poor is fairly low since there are a lot of ways to not be considered as poor, such as the voedselbank or second-handed shops. The circumstances while being considered poor are very good, due to the successful social system and the high real poverty threshold. Secondly, we will discuss the United States. The United States has a population of 329 million people. They have a poverty threshold of €10,567 and the poverty rate is 12.3%. This is the wealth inequality graph for the United States. The top 5% owns about 65% of the wealth, so there's a very unequal distribution. The United States, their socio-political system, is focused on covering people's basic needs. The flexibility between income classes is quite high. Education is expensive, but there are a lot of scholarships provided to students and the entrepreneurial environment is very good. The shame of being poor is pretty high, and this is mainly because of their capitalistic culture. The circumstances while being poor are fairly good since they have a strong social system. The downside is that they have a really expensive healthcare system. Third, we will discuss Russia. Russia has a population of 144.5 million, a poverty threshold of €2,444, and a poverty rate of 13.3%. This is the wealth inequality graph of Russia. The top 1% owns 56%, and cumulative the top 5% owns about 70% of the wealth. The social political system in Russia only covers very minimal costs. The flexibility between income classes is low since it's very hard to find a better job when in poverty and there is a harsh entrepreneurial environment. Shame of being poor is relatively low since it's difficult to earn more and poor people often only see other poor people as poverty really differs per region. Circumstances while being poor is quite bad since there is a low real poverty threshold. They can't afford healthy food in the winter and people get health issues from the age of 25 to 30. Next we will discuss China. China has a population of 1.4 billion. They have a poverty threshold of €604 and a poverty rate of 0.7%. This is the wealth inequality graph of China. This graph shows that the top 1% earns almost half of the wealth, whereas the other 99% earns the other half. The Chinese social political system focuses on helping people out of extreme poverty, and this is probably why they set their poverty threshold so low. The flexibility between income classes in China is quite low, since the government controls migration and high education is hard to achieve. In China there's a lot of shame when you are poor, since their culture is all about proud, respect, reputation and not losing your face. When you are poor, you will lose your face and respect. The circumstances while being poor differ. In urban areas there's almost no poverty anymore since the Chinese government did their very best to wipe poverty out in those areas. However, in the areas outside of the big cities there's still a lot of poverty and only food, water, shelter and clothes are covered. Lastly, we will discuss Chile. Chile's population consists of 18.1 million people. Their poverty threshold is €1,536 and the poverty rate is 11.7%. This is the wealth inequality graph of Chile. The top 5% owns about 58% of the wealth. The Chilean social political system provides low monetary help to the poor. The flexibility between income classes is low since they have low access to education and no financial security when they get sick. The shame of being poor is high as there is very high segregation and the circumstances while being poor are bad as 10% of the citizens have no basic sanitation. So as a wrap up, here we see the 5 countries in a bar chart and they are all graded against the 5 categories. When we sum those grades, we get a final score where the Netherlands is ranked up first with 39 points, United States ends up second with 26 points, Chile ends up third with 24 points, Russia ends up fourth with 19 points, and China ends up last with 18 points.